Good morning. Welcome. Welcome to Winnipeg. My voice just wouldn't cooperate there. You got sort of like a frog in my throat. I don't know what's going on this morning. Am I coming down with something? I don't think so. I feel pretty good. In fact, I feel real good. I've been at the model table for about an hour already here. And I've got the railings on. And I did them off camera. I couldn't bring myself to frustrate you anymore. And at arm's length, it doesn't look too bad. At arm's length. In fact, the way I'm looking at it right now, at first glance, they look, well, not too bad. And I'm thinking what I'm going to do is, because I've got CA glue all over my platform, which was painted to 77, so that has to be touched up, because I can actually see the glinting pretty good right now. The light is coming from behind you sort of, and it's bouncing off and coming straight up into my face here, and yeah, you can really see the reflection. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 77 and I'm going to take my brush here and I'm going to go around and I'm going to touch up the deck and also paint the rail at the same time with the 77, even though I would have preferred to have had the railing in 66 so it would sort of match all the other railing. And it will stand out really good against the 19, which is what the superstructure is. I don't know how much of that I'm going to do on camera. I probably might do a little bit of the painting on camera. I don't know yet. I don't know. We got a cloudy day today. It looks like the sun is trying to shine through something. I'm hoping it's not smoke. I'm hoping it's just haze. Anyway, yeah. Our sunrise this morning is not worth working on. Every once in a while, real early this morning, the sky was getting a little bit pink, and I thought, oh, we're going to have something, and then it died. You know, it can't be great every morning, and if it was, we wouldn't appreciate it, right? So, okay, let's recompose here, and I was going to say move on to the next step, but I guess the next thing I got to do is shake up my 77, and I kind of enjoy that. Yeah, I was a bit. I was going to say I was a bit depressed yesterday. I was kind of discouraged because I was having so much trouble with that railing, but it was a difficult railing. I think it's the worst one I've ever had. It just has so many, you might say, compound curves. Yeah, I like it when they're either have, like, you know, putting a ladder on the side of something, that's easy. Or a railing where it basically goes straight, that's easy. Or if it bends at just a right angle, that's easy. But this thing, it was terrible. But I sort of got it. I'm glad that I came back and worked at it this morning. The thought had been, why don't I just leave it? Who's going to notice that the railing's not there? But anyway, it's on. Okay, enough about that. Let's get our paint shook up here and get the camera in, and maybe I'll do a little bit on camera. Yeah. Okay, a little bit of time has passed here, but a few minutes ago I was sitting at my computer and I was editing out the opening scene, and I was feeling kind of silly about the fact that my voice had given out on me at the wrong time, but anyway, that's the way she goes. Anyway, my phone rings, and I check the call display, and the call display says South Carolina. So right away I thought of our friend Jeff down in the Carolinas, and I answered the phone. I was going to say, hi, Jeff, but then I thought, no, I better not, just in case it's not Jeff. And I said, hi, South Carolina, and he says, North Carolina. Well, sorry. I think that probably to the Canadian phone company, everything is south. Absolutely everything. Okay, now, what Jeff was talking about was that I wanted to know was something about my Tamiya pliers here. And what happened was he got himself a pair of these. And he was mentioning how that I had said that when I looked at these under a microscope, they just didn't seem to be as true as I thought they should be for the price I paid. Okay, because these things are not cheap. And then I mentioned to him that I had just used mine this morning, and that I had cut this part out of it. And the reason I cut this out of it is because when I was working on the railing up here, I was constantly dropping it. And then I concluded, why am I constantly dropping it out of these pliers? And I think it was a case of I didn't want to squeeze the railing too hard, and yet hard enough to hold on to it, of course, but it was hard to tell because there was just so much, it was just so darn hard to squeeze till you get down to the place where it's grabbing something. And then because you're squeezing so hard, you were worried that maybe you're damaging whatever it is you're holding on to. So anyway, so that's why I've cut this out, and it's much easier to operate now, at least for me. I was debating, do I cut out this one or do I cut out this one? And I thought that, well, if I cut this one out, I'm getting rid of more resistance because where it squeezes is further out from, well, anyway, I'm not good at explaining leverage, but I think you can see what it is I'm trying to say. In other words, it works a lot better now for my old arthritic fingers. Let's put it that way. And all I did was I just used my my nipper here to cut it out. Yeah. Now that now we got that out of the way. I get off the subject bad, don't I? So he was talking about how he thought that it wasn't as true here on the edge, and he was thinking if he was to take and pass it over his grinder. And so I was saying that I wouldn't use a grinder to get these edges. I would take my flat file. Now just hang on a second. It's here somewhere. Okay, now this is my flat file. Actually, I don't know if I would use this one. I have another one down in my workshop that's almost this big, but it's not quite as coarse as this. And what I was going to suggest is, let me just turn the camera a little bit. Okay, is maybe hold this together, hold them together, and then very carefully, not too hard now, not too hard, just sort of that will sort of get the edges just a little bit more even. I wonder if Chris's precision file would work good for that. Maybe, this might work good too. Just sort of squeeze it together. Now Jeff was mentioning that he thought that his hinge had a little bit of play in it. We'll stick the macro lens on afterwards and see if mine has play. I didn't notice that. But I might be trying to teach you to do something here that's not a good idea. Hold them together. Now you can see that I've taken it down. At least I can, the way the light, once again, is reflecting from you, bouncing up to me. I can see that I've actually taken that edge down. I wonder, where's that's the coarse one. Here's the fine one. Let's just try and get rid of some of those burrs there. I'm going to look at this under the microscope later and see if I think I improved on it. I'm not going to do the other side, because the other side is the way it came from the factory. So I'll let you know how it goes. Let's try and get the... Okay, let's slip the macro lens on and see if I have any play. I'm not feeling anything, but You know, the macro lens, it shows everything, doesn't it? Okay. Thanks for the call, Jeff. Oh, I'm back. In case you don't know who Jeff is, uh, Jeff is the fellow that sent us these mugs, the Bismarck and the Rodney, and also the shirts that I wear on the Rodney Mug Day. Okay, right here, there's a little black stain on my cloth. And if I can keep the tips right above that, I'll know that when I move in with the macro lens in a moment, we should be able to keep the very tips in focus here. Right now we're focused on the hinge. And the idea will be is we're going to put this together, and then I'm going to try and work one handle up and down and see if how much play we've got. Now, right now I'm kind of pleased with mine. They're not real loose at all. Anyway, let's recompose here and move our macro lens in just a little bit. In fact, we're going to move it in as close as it'll go. Okay, we are now moved in as close as we can get, and we are focused just on the very tips of the plier here. And I'm going to squeeze it together and try and keep it directly over top of that little black dot. And that paint stain. And I'm holding one lever down, and I'm prying up and down with the other one right now. Okay. Offhand, I'd say it's pretty good. Yeah, you can see a little bit, but I don't think it's so much loose as the metal is more or less springing. Maybe I'll hold this one down and I'll move the other one up and down. Okay, I'm satisfied with this, but you know what I had suggested to Jeff was that maybe what a person could do is you could put this rivet here onto like an anvil and just tap it with a hammer, and then see how it feels. You have to be careful that you didn't do it too much, because what's going to happen is you're going to end up making it so that the plier will close and it won't open up by itself. You know what I mean? In other words, it's going to get too darn tight. Okay, so yeah, I'm actually happy with mine. Jeff was also mentioning that because it seemed tapered here, he was wondering if he could just maybe take it down so it was square. I personally would not do that. I'm going to just, let's see, maybe, can you see where I sanded there? Is that the one I sanded, or was it the other side? It must have been, and okay, this must be the manufacturer's side, because it looks a little bit crude, at least to me. No, maybe not. And I think this is the one that I modified myself. It's a little bit smoother. Okay, that's just my opinion. Okay, and I may have I was making a mistake here by doing that. So anyway, let's get back to the manual and see what we're supposed to be doing. Oh, we were going to paint. That's what we were going to do. We were going to paint. Yesterday evening, I did remember to go out and top off the bird feeders. What I did not remember to do, however, was after I left, I was about halfway back to the house, and I realized I forgot to put those clips back on the wire again. It seems to me I've forgotten 3 times now, but I eventually do remember. Now, if I don't put those clips on there, a real strong wind will actually blow the lids off of the bird feeders. We had it happen once. Maybe some of you will remember when it happened. I think it was last summer. We had a storm. Anyway, all is well that ends well. We're going to have some happy birds. Okay, before we get ourselves going here, I wanted to apologize for that 3-minute shot that I had in yesterday's episode, where the whole thing was so hopelessly out of focus. Now, something like that bothers me far more than the fact that this railing is what you might say sorely lacking. Now, to somebody who's really into getting, the model just right, something like this bothers them a lot more than the photography aspect of it. But I sort of pride myself a little bit on, having really sharp, clear video, that shows up my mistakes as good as absolutely possible. Anyway, yeah, sorry about that. Now, what I'm going to try to do here is cover up the glinting. Well, actually, I'm going to have to paint the whole railing. I mean, I can't leave it photo etched, but what I want to try to do is get that, I don't know if you can see it, but in behind there, right now there's no paint on my brush, but right in behind there, up against the bulkhead, the CA glue had sort of wicked its way over and a little bit up the wall for about 1/4 of a millimeter. And I don't know if I can actually get in there and without making a huge mess. But for sure I can catch all the photo etch, the photo etch and the CA glue on the outside. And rather than talking about it, let's just sort of recompose. Maybe I should put the macro lens on. Of course, if I put the macro lens on, then we're going to be in really close, and you're going to see how, sorely lacking this railing is. Like right here, for instance, I don't know if I dare try to do anything about that, or if I'm just going to end up, breaking it off here where right now it's adhered really well. So it's not adhered all the way around. Well, it's impossible because some places it's just out from the platform. But anyway, that's what we got. Let's get ourselves going here. All right, now we're going to want to go on the railing here up to. Oh, it's wicking. It's wicking. You know what? I think that possibly the paint is too thin. Always an excuse, isn't there, Ron? Always an excuse. I think it's going to be all right. I think once it dries, it should be okay. I'm trying to put it on heavy enough that it sort of flows around the back side of the rail. Maybe I should resample here. Trying to get it to flow all the way around the rail. That's why I got that, you might call it a big blob of paint. When it dries, it should when it dries flat, it should actually cover pretty good here. I've decided not to try and go up against the back splinter wall there. It's not covering too good there. Maybe there's a little bit of grease on that photo etch. Okay. Do I leave the camera running here or play music or what? I might have to do 2 coats here. Yeah, I think I might have to do 2 coats. No, I can't get underneath there. Oh my, is the railing ever a long ways away from the platform right here? That's terrible. Yeah, I can see right now where the macro lens would have made it a lot better. But now, don't go up against the 19 here if you can help it. Maybe I should use a different brush. I think I just made it. Get some more, make it a little thicker. Let it flow all the way around. Now that part that I just touched right now, it already was the 77 from before. Now, is there anything more that we can do here? I see a little bit of glinting right there. Anything that I can get here before we do our second coat? I'll probably do the second coat quickly off camera. Alright, anything else here? I do believe we've gone all the way around. And once again, the horn is... No, wait a minute. The horn isn't. The horn is the 66. It's not the 77. So I want to be careful. I was going to say it doesn't matter if I touch the horn, but that's... No, just right in there. Just where I'm pointing right now. I think maybe I better get my smaller brush for that. I'm going to do that off camera because my angle is just not too good. Okay. I think we've done about all we can do on our railing. So now we've got to put the ladder in place. And also this part right here. I was noticing on it that there is actually a folding line where it's supposed to bend. But I'm thinking that we'll put that on last. Now the ladder has to go up against the side of the mast here. And I was thinking about, I'll paint it the 77, but the mast is black. So maybe the 66 would be a better, the medium gray. And then it would contrast. As near as I can tell, it looks like the ladder goes on the side of the mast, not on the front of it. Maybe I should be pointing with something else here. Okay. Yeah, you notice it shows that it comes in from the side, and the arrow stops on the side. It doesn't stop on the front of it. Maybe once we get the mast in place, we'll be able to see. Okay, and also this piece here, it's kind of shaped so that the part of it actually goes around the mast. You can see it's round there. Okay, so that goes around the mast. In other words, the mast has to go on now. But this ladder, I think maybe I should paint it now. So what color should this be? I guess this could also be the 66. I'm going to paint both of these the 66. I think I'm just going to quickly do it off camera. I'm not going to use the airbrush or anything. I'm just going to, although, well, I can probably do the latter if I do it in 2 or 3 coats with the brush very carefully. Otherwise, I'm going to be filling in the rungs. Okay, I'm just going to quickly do that off camera, probably a little later. It's getting on here. And I just got back from picking up my prescription that I dropped off yesterday at the drugstore, and it was kind of cool. Do you know that? It said 20. What is the temperature? Oh no, it's gone down. It's 24.5 right now. So no wonder it felt a little bit cool. I wasn't wearing my jacket, and I was kind of wishing I had. They were saying we might have showers this afternoon, so that's probably what's happening. Not that it matters to you. Some of you are literally watching on the other side of the world, so my weather is not going to affect you. Apparently, our smoke is, though. Anyway, starting to ramble, aren't I, here? I'm going to call it quits for today's episode, and I'm going to paint this off camera probably a little later. And thanks for watching, everybody. And all being well, we're gonna see you tomorrow.